This is your WXCO Daily News Roundup for Bull Falls Radio, 98.9 FM and 1230 AM in Wausau.
For WXCO News, I'm Isabella Nieto. The cranberry harvest is well underway across Wisconsin, and we've led the nation in cranberry production for the last 30 years. Melissa Kay reports.
This year, cranberry growers in the state are projected to produce 5.3 million barrels, which is less than the 2024 harvest of 6 million barrels. Grant Hawley is the executive director of the Wisconsin Cranberry Growers Association. He says cranberry research has changed focus a bit over the past year and a half.
Our researchers, seeing the handwriting on the wall and seeing how temperatures, the climate, not the weather, the climate is ticking its way up, they started to move those research pieces over to heat tolerances.
With the shortened season, growers are looking at an average year of production. This year was likely on the border of what the fruit can tolerate in terms of heat and humidity for prolonged periods. Holly said if this is the average climate we can expect going forward, cranberry growers will probably be okay.
If that degree keeps ticking a little bit higher and we keep getting warmer and more humidity, then we need to start to worry.
And what Holly said would cause the worry are bugs and pests cranberry crops haven't had to worry about before.
Are the cranberries going to be fine? They are. They grew up here. They're made for Wisconsin. They're not going to go extinct.
But Holly said these changes to the cranberry climate could cause a drop-off in plant production. Researchers are working to mitigate that as much as possible. But even with these challenges, Holly said Wisconsin isn't likely to lose the cranberry crown anytime soon.
We are producing about 67% of the nation's cranberries, a little over half of the world's cranberries. Are things going to get a little bit leaner? Yeah, they are. But we're not going to lose that title. Wisconsin's still going to be the home of the cranberry.
Attorney General Josh Kaul is running for re-election. He announced yesterday he wants to stay at his post amid rumors he was considering running for governor. He says as federal cuts impact Wisconsin, he wants to continue to, quote, stand up for our freedoms and the rule of law. Kaul is mostly through his second term as the top law enforcement official in the state. He first beat then Attorney General Brad Schimmel and then Fond du Lac County District Attorney Eric Toney, both Republicans. Toney is expected to join this race and run against Kaul in a rematch. There's now a court fight over Wisconsin's registered voters. A Waukesha County judge says the state's top election officials must verify that everyone on the voter rolls is a U.S. citizen. Savannah Tomei Olson has the story.
According to reporting from the State Journal, this is all because of a case brought by two voters represented by a conservative law firm. These voters filed a lawsuit claiming Wisconsin should require proof of citizenship for people to cast a ballot. And this judge agreed, ordering the state to verify all voters or citizens by the next election in February. But then the Department of Justice has filed an appeal asking for the order to be put on hold. Attorney General Josh Kaul says implementing this new check would, quote, require a massive overhaul of Wisconsin's voter registration statute, end quote. He also argues the judge's order creates a new voter requirement that's not in state law. The judge agreed to postpone part of his order, the part that would have required every new voter trying to register prove they're a U.S. citizen, which Kaul says would have shut down voter registration in the state. The judge set a court date for October 31st. We have voter ID laws in Wisconsin which require a state ID to vote. Only U.S. citizens and people who are in the country legally can get a state ID.
In a meeting of the Wausau Finance Committee on Monday, alders pushed back on Mayor Doug Denny's proposal for new spending, including a $40,000 consultancy for a city manager feasibility study and a separate parks efficiency review, which would both be drawn from the city's Economic Development Fund. The city also faces a loss in federal funding for several public safety positions, including 13 firefighters and 2 police officers, which is a $1.5 million shortfall. The committee is expected to finalize their amendments to the budget by next week, and the City Council is expected to adopt the budget in November. The United Way of Marathon County is investing $1.7 million into local organizations and programs aimed at tackling the community's biggest financial barriers. 24 organizations and 29 programs will see funding next year. WSAW reports there are some new recipients of United Way funding, such as the Athens Area Food Bank and the Community Center of Hope in Mosinee. Marathon County United Way Director of Community Engagement Ben Lee told WSAW they're attacking financial barriers specifically pointed out by the community. The Wisconsin Department of Tourism has awarded nearly $80,000 in grants to Visit Wausau and the Greater Wausau Prosperity Partnership. Visit Wausau was awarded nearly $40,000 for their second year of the Two National Trails, One Base Camp campaign. The Greater Wausau Prosperity Partnership was awarded the same amount to launch the North Central Wisconsin segment of their Ride Wisconsin gravel campaign that promotes the region's more than 900 miles of interconnected gravel routes spanning 5 counties. I'm Isabella Nieto for WXCO News.
Brewers and Cubs in Chicago. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Game 3 of the NLDS. After 2 wins in Milwaukee, Brewers manager Pat Murphy asked what is he expecting from the Cubs fans at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to be here a number of times in the last 10 years. I know how great this crowd can be, how impactful it can be, just like ours were the last 2 games.
Right-hander Quinn Priester on the mound for the Brewers. On facing the Cubs.
They know what they're going to get. We know what we're going to get. And it's just, go to battle. And just, we're going to keep punching back. They're going to keep punching, see who comes out on top. And if we play our style of baseball and we execute the way we can execute on the mound at the plate, we're really confident in our team.
NFL, the Packers getting ready to host the Bengals Sunday. Cincinnati making a trade, sending a 5th-round pick to the Browns for veteran quarterback Joe Flacco. The Bengals losing 3 in a row with backup Jake Browning after Joe Burrow had toe surgery. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
That's your WXCO Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at bullfallsradio.com.